to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message at the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try enforcing some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hey guys, welcome to Trinity Force Podcast. Adam Potophobia Cogswell here. Sean is here. Mitch is here.
I'm right here.
So I am on my iPhone trying to look up the iTunes reviews so I could talk about them this week because I just realized that I never added them.
But it starts at the very beginning and you have to go all the way through?
Well, I just don't know how to look them up on the podcast section.
This is called preparation,
iTunes.
Guys.
Yeah,
I kind of figured it'd be easy enough to go to my podcast, click on Trinity Force Podcast, and then it would be like, here are your reviews. Maybe I
kind of figured that you would have done this
even
like a minute before we started.
Well, I actually... I didn't put the document
together.
What a
strong opener. I like this.
I actually suggested earlier today that we do a podcast about what we're thankful for with each other. And this is definitely, preparation is one of my top favorite things about this podcast.
Oh, yeah. Most
Wait,
definitely.
Does this really go?
Yes, it starts at the beginning.
Wow.
Yep.
On the iTunes store, you can't.
You can't just search all the way to the end.
Well, you can if you do it. You can if you do it on the desktop version.
Okay.
So great, people are reading reviews from 2012, which we are a much different podcast then. But hey, they're 5-star reviews. So if you guys want to leave a 5-star review, I will read it because I will pull them up on my MacBook rather than my phone next time, and I'll have them ready. Doesn't look like we have a new review anyway, but I would like for you guys to go out there, leave us a review on iTunes, tell us what you think about the show. The more reviews you leave, the more listeners we get, and the more prepared we are every week. That is a lie.
That is not a correct correlation in the slightest.
The more reviews you leave, the faster Cereal Box will work out Champions Like podcasts.
That's exactly how that works.
We still owe them 2 for this month, and I believe we have 1 that I have not released because Days did 1.
I hope so.
Otherwise, we're gonna be working extra overtime.
I was over in. I'm kind of jet lagged right now. I don't know if you know this, but Alabama is a whole time zone away. So even driving there, I consider it jet lagged, and they don't have internet there. So I don't know what's happened with Champ Select, what's happened with just life since then. Because I mean, being disconnected like that is kind of rough.
Yeah, that's why the phone's always.
Can't wait till they get cell service. Sorry if there's any Alabama listeners here. I'm really sorry. I'm not shit on you guys that much. It was actually a very fun time. It was just cold.
I think most of them understand. So this week, we have one podcast this week coming out for you guys because it is the week of Thanksgiving. Lots of our shows on the network are actually not releasing episodes this week. So if your feed is a little light...
So you're lucky you get one.
Right. Well, it kind of sucks. I get it because a lot of you probably want them to listen to while you're driving and traveling and that. But a lot of people record on Thursday nights, so they're not recording this week. There's like 3 or 4 podcasts that are actually recording Thursday nights. But you got us. You can listen to us. Additionally, Monday we'll have a review for a keyboard for you guys as everybody comes back, because I want Dom here to talk about it, the HyperX keyboard that Chira's been using and beating people with for a while. And
do you mean like physically or in game?
You missed the joke,
both.
So I'm not going to repeat it.
Okay, both. Good.
Yep.
He's 2-0 out of Akali.
That's true. I am. I'm the best Akali player.
I just spilled
my
tea
2 games
all over me. This is a real strong start, boys. We really got this.
Wait, was that supposed to be a segue to Akali, who just got patched a little bit here?
No.
I think we're talking about a patch. Or did you want to talk about more iTunes reviews first?
No, I wanted to talk about the patch. I want to talk about patch 6.23, which is going to be your ranked season start patch. Well, yeah, the actual ranked season start.
Yeah,
Solo queue is back. So jump in there. Fuck flex queue. Start playing solo queue. Get in there and show them what you're made of. So what I want to start with patch 6.23.
If that's your proclivity. If you still want to do flex queue, do whatever you want.
Do what you want.
Who cares?
Man. I'm not going to judge you. You do you. So I actually don't want to start at the top of the patch notes like we normally do. I want to start with the living jungle part of the patch notes because we have discussed in depth the jungle over the last like 2 or 3 weeks. Specifically on episode 399, we discussed optimal jungle pathing. And as of this patch 6.23, all of that gets tossed out the window more than less because they have changed some experience in the jungle. So what they have done is they have made it, I don't want to call it living jungle, it's jungle experience. Living jungle is the plants, I'm sorry. So what they did is they changed the experience of the raptors. Before we told you guys if you can start raptors, do it because you're getting the most experience as you walk through the jungle. Now they've made it so the crimson raptor, the giant raptor, only gives 15 experience rather than 65, which means that he gives what? I think it's 5 or 10 more experience than the little ones.
It's equal. So it's equal, but there's a buff on the jungle items that gives you 50 for killing a large monster. So it's technically still 65. It just was 115. It's just, I mean, if you are a laner, you will see that. You'll see that hit more. But
it's more than that because you get the extra 30 if you kill it before you hit level 2.
Well, yeah, that too. But it's still going to be 50 more than the small raptors. But it looks like from doing some quick math, you will still hit level 2 off that, which kind of makes sense. You're normalizing the amount of experience you get from a camp. Each one will get you to level 2, I believe. Mm-hmm. And this one was kind of weird too, because a few people found out that if you killed the big raptor after killing like 3 of the small ones, you'd get less experience than if you killed all the small ones first. Now it's pretty even. There's no real benefit to killing them.
Bug. Too, this patch. There was a bug where you wouldn't get bonus experience from your jungle item when killing a monster that was higher level than you while you were leveling up. So I think we mentioned that there's like a specific order to kill Kruggs in that no longer matters. You still get the bonus experience and all that if you've engaged on the camp, which is nice.
Cool.
So to talk about this, it's essentially like we're trying to talk the optimal jungle path. This is the one that is the safest route for you to take. It's the easiest.
All of that jungle diversity we'd been talking about in like the previous couple weeks of being able to go multiple paths and stuff. This kind of streamlines everything and makes like the one priority start per side again.
Do we just go delete that episode? Do we just delete that episode now so that people don't go listen to it and then try to play that jungle and then come back and listen to this? Like, damn it! I did this for like 5 games. Didn't realize 401 was out.
Well, it's not okay. So when we talk about optimal, right? Like everything is optimal. There's optimal champions play in the game, whatnot. Optimal just means you end with the most life when you hit level 3. For example, like you could still potentially start raptors and then go to a buff and follow the old path.
Depends what champ you're going to be too.
Yeah, it depends. It depends what champ you want to be. But this is like the most optimal where you have a route that you can always take, and you know the enemy jungle. Well, you don't know. The likelihood of the enemy jungler showing up to counter jungle you is lower because of this route. And like right now, if you want to get to level 3, right, the best routes is blue, wolves, grump, or red and Kruggs. And they take about the same amount of time, both of them do. And that gets you right to level 3. Level 4 is a little more involved. You would do the same thing like you do. Well, level 4 is blue, grump, wolves, raptors, red, Kruggs, wolves, blue. That's so basically you're going back and coming back and taking your buff, etc. And you're hitting level 4. Why do I have blue? Oh, I'm sorry. I see why. It's blue, grumps, wolves, raptors, red, or red, Kruggs, wolves, blue. Sorry, I added the 2 sides in.
Mm-hmm. So raptors start kind of just is really shitty now then, because you're kind of trading off a lot of life because those little razor beaks
hit really hard.
And you were going to get an experience buff because of going them first, but now it doesn't seem at all worth it.
Now the experience buff isn't there, and they're still doing the same amount of damage. Yeah. So don't do that. Don't start right.
Yeah.
Don't start
ignore $3.99.
Was it Dom that week that said it? I don't remember if he said it publicly or if he said it privately that it was funny that we're to the point where that we're min-maxing experience out of the jungle. Like there's not much left to min-max anymore, so now we're starting to min-max experience out of the jungle for everybody.
Yep.
Which I think is funny. So there you go. If you're jungling like Dom, you're no longer starting those camps. Just go right to your buff and enjoy having that early. Now you can run over and take the enemy buffs. I've seen that happening a lot more often too. I've seen a lot of people starting enemy opposite side and then going back to their jungle and trading it off that way. And additionally, more jungle discussion. If you're not banning Ivern right now, you probably should start banning Ivern, because that guy is just a giant menace.
If whoever's playing it knows what they're doing, I mean, you're still like, if they really know what they're doing, they're gonna make your life hell. But it's sort of that same boat of what, like, really good junglers playing Nunu back when Nunu was really, really powerful. It's that same sort of thing.
Yeah, that's fair. I hate it because I hate Ivern. I hate Ivern because it makes you play the game completely differently than what you're used to playing, because he's constantly in your jungle and taking your camps, and he is almost guaranteed to come in at level 2 and try to take your camp. You can't stop him from taking it. The best you can do is kill him on the way out. But they usually make it out with flash and the gigantic shield you get from E. Mm-hmm. So Ivern's just a weird one. We ran into a Diamond Ivern that completely ransacked the jungle and was just everywhere.
You're still having some trauma from it.
It wasn't that bad. Like we dealt with it at best we could. It was just Dom and I playing at that time, and we dealt with the best we could. We took care of it. The game just kind of gets out of hand at some point. Somewhere along the line, something happens. You know how those games, right? The worst part, though, was as the game got later, he would just drop a bush onto Misfortune, and you couldn't get to her. She would just kind of stand in the bush, then ult, and by the time that she was visible because she was standing in the bush, you couldn't target her with anything. So that was like a really cool strategy.
You need that blue trinket. You need that blue trinket real bad.
Right. And that was the problem. Like, we would engage, he would just drop a bush and she'd just stand in it. You'd be like, well, fuck, I'm getting CC'd to death. So I guess we jump back to the top now since we're talking junglers. Shyvana, if you haven't seen those changes out there, she got a change coming in this patch, and it's a pretty sizable change, if that, because they
mixed everything up for her.
Yeah, it's a pretty big change. The notable pieces of the change is that her passive she now deals 10% more damage to elemental drakes, including the Elder Dragon, and for each elemental drake Shyvana or her allies defeat, she gains an extra 5 armor and magic resist. So that's interesting.
That kind of takes away from. They removed a bunch of the armor and magic resist you got from your very, very boring passive that she used to have, which was just that you got like 5 to 20 armor and magic resist that was doubled when you were in dragon form. Now that's down to 5 plus 5 per elemental drake you take, and you don't get it doubled when you go into dragon form, but you get health now from going into dragon form. And a couple other changes. They also toyed around on the PBE with giving specific bonuses to Shyvana based on what elemental drake it was, which kind of seems like adding more RNG to an already kind of RNG heavy thing with how elemental drakes work in the first place. So I'm kind of happy they went and normalized it and said, all right, let's just give it to be a small kind of thing, but give her maybe a bit more incentive to go for dragons because you get that extra 10% damage. I like it. And there's a bunch more too for her.
I was looking it up. What's the normal, like 15 armor is a cloth armor, so essentially you're getting 300 gold if you kill, or you gain not 300 gold, sorry. Well, you gain 300 gold. I was thinking if you kill 2 dragons, you gain 10 armor and magic resist, plus you have your base 5, so you're essentially getting a free 300 gold for killing 2 dragons.
And MR too. You got the MR too. You got to calculate. So you're getting a lot. You're getting a lot of just free stats.
I mean, that's cool that you're getting a lot of free stats, but you're also like considering that you're getting a lot of free stats if you're winning. Like if you're already taking dragons, if you're taking a lot of dragons, you're getting a bunch of free stats, but like that's also an objective that once removed from the map will never provide that bonus to her ever if the enemy team gets it.
Right.
So like this is one of those. This is something that could, helps out a lot. Yeah, you get some awesome, nice defensive stats, but you would have already had these before in the previous patch. And yeah, you're going to get health from her ult later. We'll talk about that. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel with them providing something to a champion where like this isn't something like Victor where if you have the gold, you can buy the item or whatever. This is, you have to do this in game to get this portion of your passive. And if you do not do this, sorry, that's your luck.
Right.
Like I don't know how I feel about something on the table like that. I mean, it's kind of cool, but unless they start adding it for more champions, I don't know.
It's like, unless the damage output with the rest of her kit
makes up for it,
right? We're kind of like talking the difference between or professional and solo queue play. Like she's gonna be fantastic in solo queue. You take 2 dragons, right, and solo queue, and it's probably pretty easy to do with Shyvana with how quickly she can farm the jungle. That she gets all the free stats, but there's no free lunches in professional play, so you have a passive that's not giving you much.
If there's something that's holding you back in professional play, you're probably not picking it just because of that.
Right. But
you know what I just thought of though? Before we move on from the passive, I wonder if that gives her 10% extra damage on her smite then. Like maybe that gives her a bigger threshold to hit those smites in close smite fights. I mean that's with you paying attention. That's with you very much paying attention to that. And
I think the only way that would happen is if they overlooked it, because it wasn't.
No, I think that makes sense. I would think that would be intended. I would think that would be intended if it went through.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I could also very easily argue the opposite. So like that's how
too big of
how
an
easy you would think it is. Yeah, it's not crazy, but like when you're talking an extra 60 damage in a smite fight where two people are waiting for it to tick down low enough, like that could be really, really clutch at some points. I don't know. We'll see. I guess that has to be tested still.
Or I mean, even at level 18, when you have like 100 damage extra window in comparison to the other jungler, that's still nice.
Yes.
If that's the case.
Hey, let's talk about the other things too. Holy shit, we're covering this passive a lot.
Well, it's an interesting, unique passive. It kind of needs to be talked through and people have an understanding of why 5 armor magic resist per dragon means something.
And also like you need to focus on dragons now as her.
Right.
Like you kill them quickly, but like to get the most out of what she has, you need to kill them. You get free stats for it.
Kill dragons, as we've been yelling for seasons.
You're a dragon, kill dragons. Let's go.
Burnout. When you are in dragon form, it no longer leaves the trail behind you. They in a long post, they basically said it didn't make sense for her to jump into a fight and then leave the trail behind as she was trying to run at people, because it didn't stop anybody from following you in a fight, because it just really wasn't doing that much damage, and it just didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense thematically for her to do that. So instead, now the size of the W increases while you're in dragon form. It was 325. It now goes 350, 365, 380. So it gets larger and larger and larger as you put ranks into Dragon's Descent. You don't have to put point in the W. You just have to put points into her R to make it larger.
You're still probably maxing W anyways.
Oh, I'd
sure. Assume. I mean, E got some changes in here, but okay. So that's a. I don't know if that's. I haven't seen like the pictures of it. That 325, that 25, 15 you get bonus is the like edge to edge. It's not like a radius increase. So you're not getting double that. Like that's not huge, but I mean it's better than what they used to have. So
any range is significant, I'd say, for an AoE ability like that. So Flame Breath has been updated. It now stops on the first champion hit in both dragon and human form. However, the ability power ratio has gone down. The missile speed has actually decreased. It was 1700, so it shot fairly quickly. Now it's going to shoot. I won't say significantly slower, but it's going to feel noticeable. While in dragon form, Shyvana can target Flame Breath anywhere within its max range, so you can move it out in a cone left and right. While in dragon form, Flame Breath explodes when it hits a champion and reaches its target location, leaving behind a flame zone. So that's what they did. That flame zone that used to follow you on W, it now spews out and leaves it where you want it. Right. The damage in dragon form has changed. It's now 100 to 200 at level 1 to 18 magic damage, stacking with Flame Breath's normal damage and our targets hit. So it deals an additional 100 to 200 damage when you're in dragon form. That's actually a significant amount of damage added to an ability. The flame zone size is 220, 240, 260, so it's relatively small compared to her W. And the damage is 60 to 120 while you stand in it. And it's all magic damage.
It's also worth noting that it is not a cone anymore. It's the same kind of shot as you. The same kind of shot that she has in human form. It is in dragon form, but it's a line. But you can target. The part you can target on the range that they're talking about is where the circle will appear, so where it pretty much will end, so where it'll explode, and that's the difference. It's not it will still stop on a champion hit, I believe, because that wouldn't make sense not to, but you can say I just want the zone on top of me. You can have it just fire pretty much directly below you, and those people will get that passive procced onto them constantly.
That's the cool part.
That was the other. This is exactly it. When you leave the flame zone on the ground, where it used to be in the past, like if you hit a bunch of people, like if you hit somebody with your E, you could run up and it would do the % health damage. When you hit them with autos, you get the bonus off your Q as well. This now applies to anybody standing in that fire zone. So as long as they stand in it, you can keep smacking them to proc the portion of the E that like marks them with fire, so you do extra damage for hitting them.
And that was a lot of damage. Flame Breath is definitely, I would say Flame Breath's an ability you're maxing second at least now. W to clear fast. I wonder if there's ever a case to put up a couple points in the W for some early clear and then go right into E for all the extra damage in the flame zone.
You used to be able to do that. You could put like 2 or 3 points into your E and then just roll through. 2 points into your W and then just roll through with E if you wanted to.
I have to look at the numbers.
Depending on what you wanted to do.
Unfortunately, when I look at patch notes, I can read these numbers. It's just harder. I like to look at the wiki page because it's easier to read when it's colored properly and everything. So Dragon's Descent, which is her R, has also been changed. Shyvana can no longer be knocked out of Dragon Descent's dash, so it's like a good getaway tool now, or engage tool even, so she can't be like Vayne Eat away.
So you're not going to get thresh hooked in the middle of the air and be dragged back.
The max range has been decreased by 100. The damage has been decreased. It was 170 to 425, is now 150 to 350. But you gain 150, 250, 350 bonus health when you use it. So early and mid, that's a lot better than previously with that extra armor, because health means more until a certain point in the game. Then health means more later, right? Mm-hmm. The attack range, though, I thought this was really cool. Is that the Dragon Form attack range has been increased as you rank it. It's 175, 190, 205. So
and
now
that also coincides with every rank that you put into her ultimate. Her Dragon Form gets bigger as well. So the attack range also is there with the bigger size, I guess, hitbox.
So everything in Dragon Form gets bigger. W gets bigger. Yep. Her auto attack range gets bigger. She gets larger.
She grows up into an adult dragon.
Oh, that's cute.
So one thing I was just checking because I thought it was interesting. Putting that Flame Breath zone down is even cooler. Like, obviously, it's only in Dragon Form, but your Q in Dragon Form also cleaves, and when it cleaves, it also applies on hit. So you can apply that on hit, like percent damage to multiple people with one Q, and if they're in that zone, like they're all going to be marked by that. That's going to be an interesting, like, obviously it doesn't slow or anything, it doesn't lock people down there, but either the initial just burst of that, or if your team has some CC to put them there, it's going to be pretty nice. Like maybe an Orianna ball. I don't know. That seems a little bit outrageous to have a ball delivery system of Shyvana, but maybe it would work.
People have done it before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say it's outrageous. I just haven't seen it in forever because Shyvana hasn't been relevant in a long time.
I want top lane Shyvana back. She was always my favorite.
You can do that. It's also funny. You still get Shyvana doesn't have to be involved in the killing of the dragon to get that passive.
But she's so far away.
But she hears
like
it. But she hears it. That's the thing. She speaks dragon and hears it.
The problem comes with being Courage of the Colossus being so goddamn good out of top lane right now, or for any bruiser that has hard CC, and she doesn't have any. I mean, I guess her R, maybe.
But at that same time, with all the tanks, like especially CC tanks we're seeing out of top lane at the moment, because Courage of the Colossus is so good, she's also really good at shredding them. So if she does get in an extended fight, and she can get her E off decently, I mean, I could see some stuff there. But yeah, Courage Colossus is so good at the moment. It's so good.
Let's talk about somebody who doesn't use Courage the Colossus, because Akali is getting a buff on this patch. One of the only assassins to be touched, actually. Mm-hmm. Chira has been trying to put on a clinic with Akali for all of 2 games.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have been putting on a clinic with Akali.
Please, Sean. I carried you in that second game.
I'm sure you carried the 36-7 Akali. I am so sure you carried that.
I'm the one who turned those games around. Did you not see my quadra kills that I had as Sivir? I had a triple W bounce for kills.
That means nothing to me.
Sean's like, I don't know what ADC is.
Yeah, what ADCs are something that I melt every time I pick up this champion. Let's go about what they changed.
Mitch is like that mom that doesn't like to hear the kids bickering at the table, so they well, he takes his headset off, but she just starts really knitting, or gets up and walks away and walks into the kitchen to make something.
No, I'm that mom who doesn't like to hear you guys suck your own dicks for a minute straight.
That hurt a little.
I mean, there's really no difference between that and my mom. I mean, no one wants to hear me bicker or talk about myself, so it's fine. That's why I have a podcast, so I force you guys to do it.
We are forced to be here.
Yeah, I guess we're forced to be here.
So Akali said changes passive twin disciplines. The heal ratio has been increased. The ability power ratio portion of that has been increased to 0.45 ability power. Damage ratio has been increased. Again, ability power is 0.65 now. And fixed a bug where damage from twin disciplines and Mark of the Assassin would not count towards Thunderlord's decree. Big change Twilight Shroud.
I didn't notice that bug that much since I've been playing her. I barely noticed it at all. But
Twilight Shroud, the cost has actually gone down at rank 1 by 20 energy. Significant amount of energy.
Yeah, that's nice.
And it goes down with every rank you put in it, down to 40 energy now. And
so
they also, one last thing, they increased the bonus attack damage and ability power ratios on E by 0.1 each.
Something about the energy I was just curious about. With your E, with that reset that they've kind of built into it now. So if E kills a unit, the cooldown goes down by like 60%. I think is actually that might be just about right. Is that it was maybe the energy decrease on W because you were getting a little bit gated by E? Like, do you use that a bunch in lane, or is it kind of just a nice little you just have it back up because I used it to last it because I missed the auto attack or something, or is it better for pushing? I don't know what that E's for.
It's nice if like you kill somebody and you just keep rolling through and smacking people, but like the energy generation on her, like you have to get rolling pretty well between Q marking and like not just blowing everything at once, or you're gonna have not the best time. And when you're using Twilight Shroud anyway, you're doing it to slow things down for the most part, to either get the fuck out, to dodge something, or to end up like giving yourself more time to generate some more energy so that you can just kill them.
Okay.
So the fact that they ended up dropping the energy amount on Twilight Shroud, so it's going to be cheaper to do it, so you can sit there for a second, kind of like have that slight little reprieve so that they can't immediately turn on you if you didn't blow them up instantly. To also like get a second for either your Q to come back up so you can smack them with it and get more energy back, or you can just wait to get some energy back. I don't know exactly how that's going to work with the E reset because I'm kind of new to playing her. I've just been doing really, really well on her. But it's nice when you have the energy for it. But when you have no energy at all, you feel useless.
How is that
because
blink
you kind
range
of are.
too? How is that blink range? The blink on her W now, like
it's really nice. Blink? It's you can do some weird mind trickery stuff with it, or like use it as a quick way to dodge a skill shot or something like that.
I watched you get over a wall with it.
I've been using it to hop over walls with it. You can hop over. I think you can hop over Dragon Pit with it. You can hop over a bunch of walls with it. Like almost anything you can hop over a Riven Q with, you'd be able to hop over with Akali. I mean, it's a really, really slight blink, but it's enough to, you can sidestep skill shots. You can sidestep a lot of stuff. It's and the my favorite part about it is they don't know where you're going to be at inside your shroud when you pop it. So they can't just throw a bunch of AoE in one portion of it because they know you're going to start there, or I don't know. I like it.
That's kind of cool thematically too. That you kind of drop behind this. I don't want to call it smoke bomb, but that's essentially what you're doing.
It is your smoke bomb
because you can, like, instead of just putting it where you are, you're leaving it behind and maybe jumping a wall, maybe sticking around where you were. That's pretty cool.
The move speed out of it is my favorite portion.
Oh yeah.
Like as soon as you pop that thing down and you can dodge a skill shot or something like that, and you know it's on cooldown for them. And then you basically get the race car right over if you don't have your ult up. If you have your ult up, you're going to be on them anyway. But you just zip around, and you can just like move in and out of it to keep that speed buff rolling. It's nice.
How were you by any chance maxing that second? Because that 100% move speed at rank 5 is crazy to have while you're in there. But
I wasn't maxing it.
I assume Q would still be. I'd assume
Q was first max. Yeah, Q was first.
Yeah, and potentially E, because you're actually getting energy decreases on both W and E as you rank them.
Yeah, I was
going
QE.
Okay. Just curious. I didn't know if there's any situation where you might be like, I want to run real fast, but only in this small circle for the entire game.
I could see it if your lane is just hellacious and you're getting ganked a lot and you want to be able to pop Shroud at any time and want it to be lower and need to run really, really fast away because people will kill you otherwise. But that's already like, things have already gone way too wrong at that point.
And I think you set yourself too far behind to start maxing W instead of damaging.
Probably, I would think that as well. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's a good change considering she's last in both middle and top. Holy I did not realize 41.75 is the lowest I've seen since. There's somebody like 37 a while ago.
Specifically because she was last, and then with stumbling forward and winning, I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I don't know. I played
Fall
Talon.
flat on my face and kill everything.
I played Talon once, and I think I was doing decent. I was at least 50% in kills and deaths, but I felt so useless in team fights after I blew my 2 abilities because like you have an ability, you have an E, you can't even use it to do anything but jump over walls, right?
Adam texted me this morning. He was like, man, he's like, I played Talon yesterday. It was really cool. I was like, man, I got in this fight in such a sweet way. I did all this parkour, got in there. It was awesome. Then I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I shouldn't be here. I'm useless now. What am I doing?
The parkouring to run away from people was really cool. Like, R, parkour, run away, or parkour down to bottom lane to try to gank and stuff. But, like, I get in an extended trade with I get in a trade with somebody who has 3 abilities, like not Akali, like Ari, right? She got charm and then free damage on W and obviously her Q, and all I could do is throw my 3 abilities on you and pretty much run away or hope that I burst you with an ignite, which I guess that's what he's made to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would all I'm saying is I would like for them to take E and make that the passive, where I just right click a terrain and I jump over it, and then give me something on my E to do more damage with. Or increase the size of W, please. Put W back to where it was, Riot. W needs to be larger. Anyway, Anivia, rip the bird, because these changes
hurts.
just this guts her. Honestly, I think this.
You think so? I don't think it guts her.
I think
it's going to be harder to play her for sure, but like I don't think it guts her.
I think it guts her to the point where her win rate's going to significantly drop, and no one's going to be playing. I mean, not nobody, but the RE combo. Okay, so what they did is they made it so you can't just press R and get that quick flash of R and then E somebody. R has to fully grow to its size.
No, that's not even how you did it. What you would do is you shoot your E, and as your E is traveling through the air, you can hit R on them, and it applies the bonus damage.
Right.
So like it's instant bonus damage. There isn't like, oh, drop R, they might be able to flash out of it. This is cool, whatever. No, it's already going to hit them, and then they're taking the damage from your ult. It's going to hurt you real bad.
Yeah, there's no counterplay, and now there is counterplay.
So if you hit Q, you can still E for full damage, but they have to be standing in your fully formed glacial storm.
Yeah, you got to let your R build all the way up to get the bonus damage from your E, and then this is what I was talking about. You're going to have to be better to do the same thing with her. You're going to have to land your Qs. Yeah, you have to land your Qs, and that kind of sucks because like it's a bit cheaper. I think it's a bit cheaper to just ER instantly and get the damage off rather than spend the extra mana on something big like Q. Mind you, if you're getting a tier or something like that, your mana issues aren't going to be as significant later on in the game. But early, when like you hit level 6 and you get some decent trading power, that's going to hurt.
It's worth noting that it takes half the time to fully form now, though, guys. It's not like you have to wait 3 seconds and be like, please stick around.
Stick
around in there for a little bit longer.
Percent health damage, right? Like every champion coming out has some kind of percent health damage in one way or another, and 1.5 seconds channel time. Because Fizz has 1.5 seconds, like LeBlanc has 1.5 second channel time. I think they feel like 1.5 seconds is the perfect amount of time to counterplay.
It's 1.5 seconds for champions that can throw a ton of instant burst that like otherwise doesn't have any counterplay. The counterplay to it is 1.5 seconds. Like you have the very slightest window to get the hell out of dodge before immense damage is incoming, which is, it's nice if you have the reaction time and absolutely no ping. Then it's great. But for the vast majority of players, I would say that that's way less significant than we're probably making it out to be.
I don't know. They decrease the whole damage of it. They have the damage per second.
But it is the same damage on when you fully form it.
Right. Yeah, because it's 40.
I mean, you've gutted the one combo. I 100% agree with that. But I do not think it is that bad. You're also getting. I know this is not as big of a buff. 8 seconds off your cooldown on W, which is used a lot of times to do some cool
that's
plays.
Their premise. That's their premise of this whole change. Anyway, they want it to be like, hey, your W is more rewarding now if you get your ult down and you block somebody in with W. It should feel good rather than just, hey, your big thing is ER, all the damage. Now it's like, okay, corral them into the death pit and murder them. You're rewarded for it. Huzzah.
Yep. Yes. No, actually, Anivia is one I want to try. I've been moving to mid lane, and I kind of want to try Anivia, and now to be fair, I don't have that RE combo down. That
Yeah, so you don't have to
the other
worry
shit that
about.
I'm playing. I don't have that Alt E combo yet because I've never played her. I think that I wouldn't be too concerned walking into playing her now and be like, oh, I'm missing that combo. I'm not used to doing that. I'll be curious to try
that combo wasn't hard to do in the first place. Like you just have to.
You overestimated me.
It's this hard right here. That's it. Did you guys? Did you hear that noise?
I didn't hear it,
but I don't think I could do it.
Hold. That's it. That's all you had to do.
Well, what was that? Were you hitting like Alt Tab?
That was just ER.
You should
Just
hit
leave
Alt
the game.
F4.
Alt F4.
Now I was gonna say you should just hit Alt
I was Alt
F4.
F4ing. That's the trick. You just quit the game, you uninstall League, and then you walk away. That's how you combo correctly with Anivia.
Not anymore. It's R and then E.
Well, I'm gonna Alt F4
Or
out
it's
of this.
Q E and it's R. Wait a second and a half E.
I'm gonna do that again. Well, I'm gonna Alt F4 out of this conversation. Move on to the next champion.
Nice.
All right.
Evelyn, Shadow Walk no longer dims your screen when she's hidden. So congratulations, you're not permanently. Your screen isn't permanently gray. That's pretty much it. Shunpo, movement commands are canceled if Shunpo targets a plant or enemy champion.
Okay.
Lux
that's
final Sparks cast indicator line has been widened to be easier to read. And that was for some colorblind people. So just some little quality of life bug fixes. Now, change to Malzahar coming in here. Malzahar can now store 2 charges of Void Swarm. The Voidlings deal more damage, but they don't multiply as frequently as they previously did.
Okay.
That's pretty much the TLDR of it all.
Yeah.
So like you can store more just so you can blow them quickly if you want to do the burst or like use them as a time delay sort of thing.
There's a couple really interesting things with it because while it's more difficult to, I need to look at all the situations that cause spawning another Voidling, but you get a ton of damage. That's minions. Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
I didn't read the word minions. I just saw Voidlings deal 300% damage, and then I just glossed over the word minions affected by Malefic Vision.
Well, it's every time the Voidlings kill a minion, they spawned a new Voidling.
There's a couple other ones. So it's attacks the first time a Voidling attacks a champion or a large monster or assistant killing unit, which I guess the assistant killing unit is not a thing anymore. So you also, I think you lose the frenzying. The frenzying is gone.
Yeah, that's
when you have
gone.
3 active, that's gone. And the window to spawn them is also pretty small. It's only 3 seconds instead of 8. Yeah, but you have those 2 charges, so you can use that properly, or at least you're getting more. I guess you're getting rewarded if you I shouldn't say rewarded. You're having less punishment if you don't get extra spawns off, but you won't be able to spawn as many in that initial window if you won't be able to get as many max spawn as you can before.
The other nice part of this for people playing against Malzahar is that the Voidlings also don't get all the movement speed in the world to just chase you to the ends of Runeterra if they're not within 600 units of Malzahar. So if Malz just sits back and continues to farm, the Voidlings don't just like, hey, we're going to ignore everything if Malefic Visions is on the enemy champion and just rush them down really, really quick. If Malz is too far away, they just move normal speed, which is nice if he's not chasing you. If he's chasing you, you're still beat.
So basically,
So you are getting a little bit of extra damage because it's okay. I'm gonna say you're probably getting more damage because I don't think you were building a bunch of AD on Malzahar in general. They changed how the damage works because it went from 40% total AD at max rank to 50 plus 0.4 bonus attack damage, like 50 flat. So you're getting actually a little bit more. His max AD is like 106. So I think overall you'll see a little bit more damage off of the Voidlings themselves because I really can't imagine you're going to be Hex Drinker Malzahar early on in the game.
but
or
it's
anything.
only bonus attack damage, not total attack damage now.
I agree. Yeah, but 50 will be higher
hope
than
you agree.
40%
It's right
of
there.
total AD.
It's
Yeah,
right
50,
there in
50
the
will be
tab.
higher than 40% of total AD at max rank. Easily.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
because 106, you're getting maybe 50 at level 18, but if you put more points in this early, you will get more damage out of it than live. Or I guess is now past live. Is this
It's not
is this
live
patch
yet.
live now?
No, not
Okay,
yet.
never mind.
I mean, it might be by the time people get this podcast, but it's not live yet. So
Yeah.
in just for quality of life, Voidlings now have 3 health, and they take damage similar to Zyra plants. So champion basic attacks and spells deal 1 damage to them, or AoE does 0.25 damage per tick. So like if Bran hits a W, every time passive ticks, it 0.25 damage. Essentially equating to 1 full damage. So that's, I mean, it's still kind of annoying. Nice, but annoying. I hate how
it's more understandable though. You can understand how the damage is being dealt though, which is I think a little bit better, because if you look at something like Malzahar minions right now, or even like ZZ Rot portal minions, you look at them when they're running down, you're like, I have no idea what kind of health they have.
Right.
Like I'm gonna hit them with something that didn't do as much as I thought. Okay, that's great.
Right. So it'd be interesting to see how. I like the changes to Malzahar. I can't say I've seen him a lot recently in the game, but a lot of people still are playing assassins or playing everything else. So, I mean, we didn't mention either that the Void Swarm, to get 2 of them out costs 80 mana rather than before where it was just 80 mana to get 1. So you get more you could potentially get more damage up front with them than you could previously, because you can just spam W with your 2 charges and tossing Malefic Visions on somebody. It's
that when I was playing, I played against him like one of the couple games I played Ari, and I there was one point where I just underestimated damage at like level 5 and just got chunked out super hard. So I think that was kind of because when I was running away, there were 3 Voidlings chasing after me. But I think that you'll be able to do more with this if you know what you're doing, because like it is kind of a buff in that it costs half the mana and you can get 2 when you want.
Really, I think
it is. It's so weird.
Okay, looking at it, so Voidlings deal more physical damage as you put points into it, like you said, because you're gaining bonus attack damage, or you're just getting more damage flat, right? As you put ranks into it, they have 0.1 more ability power ratio, and obviously you're building a lot of ability power, so they're doing more damage from there. You can drop 2 instantly, and they're still spawning extra Voidlings. The difference
they're just not spawning as many extra Voidlings. So in order to kind of replicate the amount of Voidlings, you would end up just using both stacks of the Voidlings. Now it makes it so like you can choose whether you want to just pop 1 Voidling so that you could push a little bit without like blowing 2 to do more burst damage if you can get stuff off on people. You have an option now when you blow it.
Yeah, it's also they also boosted the AP ratio too,
Yeah.
so that's kind of nice. They doubled it to 0.2. And I think the charge system will probably be based on its normal cooldown, which starts at 20, goes down to 16. So that's still a long time to get those back up, but you can't have it be like quicker than that. Just having like getting 2 every 40 seconds is pretty normal.
Well, we can move on. I guess we could talk about, there's a bug fix with Orianna, so that when you do W command, that when cast during the travel time of Q command attack, command dissonance now waits to fire until the ball reaches destination. So if you move
rather
a ball
than
with
mid
Q,
cast, rather than mid cast and being able to activate your W, now the ball has to land before you can activate it.
thank God.
Yeah,
just
because
throw
you
it
used
at
to
me.
be able to just throw it and immediately activate it, and even though the ball was still traveling, it would drop the W in that spot.
Wouldn't it stop the ball though?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
I don't know.
None of us play Orianna enough to.
Hey, let's pause the podcast. Let's get somebody on. Let's test this out. Get somebody who knows Orianna.
Okay.
Anyway, all that matters is that now your Q has to completely stop moving before W casts.
Right. So does that mean you can queue it up while it's flying?
Yeah,
I would think.
I think it actually it's interesting because I guess in the past, again, none of us play Orianna, so this is a little bit of a guesswork. If you like realized mid-flight that a priority target was in the line of the queue, but your queue was going to go farther, you could just stop it and hit W like midway through. And so that actually might be kind of a a quality of life buff, but it limits your choices a little bit. So you could get the queuing it up situation, but you lose the ability to change your mind mid-flight.
Right.
So that's interesting. I don't know how many times people were using that, like be like, oh, I just want to use it right now.
I'm sure it was happening as this people were playing. Obviously, it was happening enough they had to change it, right?
Uh-huh.
So Shen, having a change in this patch, his armor growth stat is being increased to 3, and his health growth stat is being increased to 85 from 70.
The ninja's just getting tankier.
The ninja's just coming back with Courage of Colossus, is it all? So if you like Shen, He's your boy. Pick up Shen. That's pretty much all you get to say about that. Blade of the Ruin King that does 8% of the target's current health.
So it's back to what it started at.
And unfortunately, with the way the meta is, probably
okay.
I can't imagine anyone building this because it still costs.
I was gonna ask about that. Does that 2% increase in the target's current health? That doesn't change anything in this like new AD carry crit is all that matters meta.
No,
I would say it would more affect the fact that we're getting a tankier meta. Like that's coming back into play.
I mean, we're seeing the tankier meta, but like even with that, I haven't seen any AD carry necessarily have that much issue with like a 4-item build and just mowing through those tanks if they have somebody like. And I don't know, Adam. Maybe you can back me up on this, but I feel like ADC damage is still through the roof.
Yeah, no, it's all
like
crit.
lethality
it's
be damned
doing it.
Yeah,
no one's building lethality on ADCs anymore. Like there is no lethality.
Crit.
Yeah, it's all crit, and you're building a Last Whisper or and whatever your Lord Van Dams. God damn it, what are they called?
That's
Mortal
later in
Reminder
this patch.
And Lord Dominic's. Sorry.
I wonder if that's going to be. I wonder if maybe they'll figure out that they undertuned lethality so much that just because they didn't want assassins to just absolutely take over when they did this rework, and they're going to boost it up. Maybe how the ratio works in the near future, because it seems that from what everyone's saying, lethality is pretty garbage. Like it didn't do its job. But what they were trying to do is eliminate the feast or famine part, and all they got was famine instead. So maybe they'll
they got half of it right?
Yeah, the 50% is a passing grade in Europe. So that's actually a pretty good grade in Europe.
The big thing is Blade of the Ruin King, as we know from 400, costs too much money. It costs 3,400 gold to pick that item up, and for that same price,
you would have learned if you listened to the last episode.
Yeah, I was about to.
That's what I said. As you've learned last week, you can do that. Yeah. But for that same price. What is it? 1350. So for just a little bit more, you can do Runons and BF Sword, right? And so
also what you,
or sorry, you also what you just learned.
No, what you also learned last week is that you could get almost 9 ruby crystals, because that was also some of the math we had to do.
That's right, 400 gold each. So just with the cost of it and the fact that you have, I mean, recurve bow isn't that bad to sit on, but there is no crit in that build, and there's Blade of the Ruin King also isn't helping. I think something that as the game has evolved, people are also learning that wave clear is a huge factor in games. So if you're building a champion that needs to do a lot of damage like Vayne, you're going BF Sword into Static Shiv because it helps, gives your ADC wave clear to help with it, so that you could farm and move to your side lanes real fast. Plus crit is amazing.
I was like, oh, Blade of the Ruin King buff. Maybe we're gonna see like back to Assassin Vayne, but I don't see her having damage issues right now anyway with the crit build. So
yeah, well, Tome allows you to crit, so there's no reason not to build crit.
I think you still need a situation where AD carries or whoever would be buying this, like a dive heavy kind of meta, because the amount of self peel you get from it is also like it's very, very important.
Yeah.
For the whole, that's like everyone thinks, oh yeah, it's the damage is getting buffed. You still have that move speed steal and life steal instantly from that activation, and
it's the runaway and the chase potential.
Yeah. So I think if we end up, it's not the assassin kind of meta, but I think if you end up getting like a bunch of Malphites or Maokais that come in and are able to like just dive, lock down an AD carry, or somebody who like a Vayne who needs to get away real quick, maybe Bork comes back for that. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be just because of percentage damage.
All I know is that my Aatrox build between the Blade of the Ruin King change and the Ginsu's Rageblade change just got so much better. You guys aren't even ready for this.
So Ginsu, when you combine it all together.
That start with A?
What was that?
Are you only playing characters that start with A? You got Akali and Aatrox. Oh, and don't use mana.
I mean, maybe this is my new thing. I still play Lost Wayne.
Well, you're gonna have to start playing a K character called Kale, because Ginsu's is right up her alley now. Like
especially
she's storming back into top lane with this, or even potentially mid lane.
She's already doing well in top lane.
Right. Ginsu's Rageblade now has a 25% attack speed base on it. And
like they just slapped that on there.
None of the other stats have been changed. It's still getting a ton of
cost hasn't
speed.
Been changed.
Nothing. You get a free 25% attack speed just for building the item, which is amazing, because it never. I felt that same way. Like the only time I've ever played Kale recently is in an Aram, and it always felt weird to go rush Rage Blade. Even though it's really good,
Right.
it doesn't feel right to not have any supplemental attack speed with
Rage Blade felt great once it got rolling and you had the full stacks going, but like if you didn't have another attack speed item to back that up, every moment felt like eternity to get to that point.
Right.
When you should be just rolling through and attacking really, really quickly. This helps fix the shit out of that.
So you're going from you maxed out at 48% attack speed previously. You're now getting that 25 on top of it, so up to a 73% attack speed item at max stacks. And also, what the other part that they talked about was they don't like when items lose stats when you combine them, because technically Ginsu's was losing stats. It did come from a recurve bow, which has 25% attack speed, and then went to 0. That was contingent on how many stacks you had of it. So I think that's pretty cool. And I also don't like the metas when Ginsu's gets really good, because it always becomes really, really, really strong.
Because then you just cleave through teams if you let it stack all the way.
Does this make Master Yi jungle like really, really good? Or they changed it a while ago, so it doesn't work so well.
What do you mean cleave?
Right? Not cleave.
It used to when it got full stacks back in.
You're talking about back then. All right.
Yeah.
Still gets the double autos.
Yeah.
That's all right.
They changed it.
Double.
But back in the day, the cleave was nice.
Oh yeah.
But even still, like I really like Ginsu's. I have a really dumb Aatrox build I like to play where it's first buy Titanic Hydra, and then you get a Blade of the Rune King, and then you get Ginsu's after a Spirit Visage if you need to be tanky, but hopefully you've killed so many people at this point you don't need to.
Jax top lane with Courage of Colossus and Ginsu's now?
I mean, like, this is a buff to all of my favorite really annoying top laners.
Yeah, I was going to say, that has to be Master Yi, Jax, Kale. All of these champions are going to love it. I mean, I guess Warwick, even though he's kind of suffering right now.
You can see it on Warwick.
Those are both of his items. But I guess if it's jungle, he's not getting that buff, because I don't think you're going Blood Razor and Bork.
Yeah,
maybe you are. Fuck it, why not?
You're doing Bork or something if you're playing him out of the jungle. Like you're going Blood.
But I mean, you're doing one or the other, is what I'm saying. And, you would get Ginsu's and Blood Razor or Bork, or maybe all three if you're just going straight damage.
It depends on how ahead you would get, because I mean, you're still going to want to put some tanky stuff in between, but you might see that as like 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
To just immediately scrub somebody off the map in an ultimate.
I can't wait.
Yep.
Welcome back, Ginsu's.
Yeah,
I can.
You're back. You're back in my heart.
Sterix, it's not Gage. Gage.
Yeah, it's Gage. Sterix Gage.
There's no U. That's why.
Sterix Gage.
I've always called it Sterix Gage.
Scarix Gagey.
Combined cost has gone down by 100 gold, so the total cost has also gone down by 100 gold. Make it feel better to buy.
Cheaper.
Fucking exciting.
Super.
The most exciting change of this patch.
Never seen anything so exciting. Hey, Adam, this is your favorite item that you almost talked about.
Lord Van Dam's Pillager, which is in only Twisted Tree Line, so we're not going to talk about it because we don't talk about Twisted Tree Line on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm reading our show doc, and it's not in there. So also our show doc is wildly different in terms of order from what we've been doing, because I've had page up and down probably 30 times each.
Dom's show doc. Yeah,
yes,
I told
Dom's
Dom.
show doc.
Yeah, Dom was like, I think we have like two or so. Oh, he actually put all the fucking things in here. Holy crap.
Yeah, Dom
we have 2 episodes worth here. We have another episode worth.
He didn't need to put the whole patch in here. Jesus Christ, Tom, I love you, but my God.
No, it's not just that he did that. He put in notes as well. And you just blatantly
I've been on here, and we haven't missed them.
No, I was going to say
his notes are on the other stuff.
I looked this up earlier because I looked at all the other notes he had for the stuff, because God bless Dom. He made a show for us tonight without him being here.
Yeah, all right. For all of you who don't understand, Dom is my saint. Like, this got way better. This got way better since he's been back. I cannot explain to you how amazing it is to have some sort of person that can shepherd all of the cats that make up this podcast. They can just fucking herd us into the right place.
Well, let me help you herd you to the next noteworthy piece that is something we do need to talk about, is that autofill has been enabled in all draft queues at all times.
Ooh.
Now, it is notable that if you do get autofilled, your next game you are guaranteed one of your rolls. So if that's it. So
don't sleep on the fact that you're probably going to have to support again at some point.
support or jungles. I mean, it
Right.
sucks. I look at this and I'm like, I get why they're doing it to increase queue times. I know we've had the conversation ad nauseum.
Decrease
Or I
queue
meant,
times.
excuse me, decrease queue times.
Fuck you guys. You're not going to play our game nearly as frequently.
Well, the reason I said increase is because I would rather have an increase in queue time to get my primary role, but we've had that conversation ad nauseum. So Riot feels this is the best option. I guess the good thing is you can play a game as Phil potentially, and then you can go and get one of your roles, and then you can potentially Phil again and get one of your roles. So
Does it let you know? I mean, obviously, when you're playing autofill, like you realize I didn't pick that role and that's what I got. But if you pick Phil, does that just let you get one of your roles next game? Is that what that means too?
yeah, it says
Okay.
because you filled,
I mean,
you get
when you
guaranteed.
queue up at the bottom of the screen anyway, it says like autofill has been enabled. So
Yeah.
like you'll know when you're going into a game and you might end up having to fill.
No, I meant more of will somebody get like who doesn't have a specific role? Like if they play a Phil game, they will then get to just pick from one of their two roles essentially. Like they'll get one of those two
Yeah.
if they want to.
Yeah, that's how it
it
works.
works the same
Okay,
way.
cool.
If you get into a series, you're guaranteed one of your two roles when you go into a series.
Oh, okay, cool.
Right. So that
What if everyone's in their series though? Like everybody
Well, then everybody's
in
fucked.
the world.
Here you go. I'll tell you this much. I
when you're in
watched
a double jump.
PewDiePie stream for all of 15 minutes earlier, and the guys were talking when they got in the game. They asked each other, how long did you wait in the solo queue? PewDiePie was 7 minutes. One guy was 60 minutes, and another guy was 25 minutes. So that gives you an idea
cool.
of challenger level solo queue, how long some people have to wait to get into a game because...
But that's how it's been for a long time.
Right. But that's just...
So we're saying
this
we
last
should-
season's been a bit quicker, but that's typically how. Like I don't know if you guys remember way back in the day watching pros, play a bunch of other games while they were in their 45-minute queues for.
And then Riot tried
whatever.
to take away those games from people streaming, the pro streaming League of Legends. You can't play anything else, only our game. And everyone's like, we're all gamers. What?
We would do that. The problem is, sir, we queued for this 37 minutes ago and we're still not in the game.
Right.
I have 3 different accounts queued up right now, and I'll just close out the other 2 that don't get in a game.
It's like the old school online poker. You just play a bunch of games at once. You have a bunch of accounts queued up. Whichever is the first one that has like a winning hand, let's go with it.
Right. You just play that. Humorously,
just fold everything
Riot
else.
just did a charity event, and they were playing CS:GO on stream and Super Smash Brothers on stream at Riot HQ on their channel. So they have come a very, very long way. It took them 5 years to get this far, but they finally turned around. It's like Sean telling me about other podcasts and about how everybody is
what
good
the
and
fuck?
happy. And you know what? I agree, but we don't need to get into that conversation.
there
But it's
you
the
go.
same thing, Sean. It's exactly the same
know.
thing.
I know. There's plenty of room. There's space for many things, sir.
No, this space is mine.
Right.
But
Well,
everybody can
you're
come in and give me a big
Okay.
hug.
Nope.
We're all a big love. I'm gonna give next time I see Mitch. Mitch is getting a big old hug. I'm just gonna wrap my arms around him, and I'm gonna interlock my hands, and I'm gonna whisper
And
sweet
I'm-
things into his ear. Thanks for
And I'm gonna yell, "Help! I need an adult."
You're an adult.
I'm gonna need so many adults.
We're both
Well,
adults.
and that's what makes it creepier.
And then Sean will be like, he'll have that sad puppy eye face, and I'll unclench my hands and say, "Come on, come join the
geez,
circle."
this is becoming
Are you trying to make a fan fiction about ourselves?
yeah,
like
that's
in your
what's
own
happening,
head.
and
I guess
I'm
that's called
not
a dream.
comfortable anymore.
The Trinity Force fan fiction. Please, no one write that.
Written
My
by
God.
yourself. No.
Yeah, that's patch 6.23, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you for putting up with us.
Yeah, thank
That's
you
a better thing to start with.
for reviewing us on iTunes.
Thank you for telling the world how good we are at going over patch notes and explaining to you why Ginsu's Rageblade is back. You know what? I'm going to say humorously, because that's my new thing, right? Like Mitch said, he's going to get me to stop saying first and foremost. I've
So
noticed
are
that
you
I
gonna
prefer...
just
anything to
insert
that,
something
so.
that's humorous when there's going to be no joke or humor associated? All right.
I have noticed that I say humorously a lot when I want to transition. That I don't like that Riot has kept the name Ginsu around after what happened to Ginsu with Riot. Like, it was this big extravaganza, the dude blew up, but yet they've kept the name Ginsu.
Well, that makes sense for a Rageblade then, right?
I guess it does.
Isn't that kind of a little bit on the nose? I think that's actually a pretty good joke if that's what they kept it.
You know what? That might be it. So there you go.
We solved
That's
it. Solved it,
Isn't
guys.
he
We
back,
figured
though?
out Riot.
Ginsu?
I thought he was on his. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Maybe
But
not.
I don't know. We can ask our buddies Will.
We know he listens.
Oh, god damn it.
No, I have no idea.
Looking it up.
Guys, we're bringing you this hot takes on the news from Riot developers from forever ago? Maybe from forever ago.
Nah. It looks like he was... I don't know. I'd have to go through it. I don't feel like going through it.
There's not enough time to go through this.
This Wednesday's episode, which isn't actually going to be an episode, is going to be Adam and Shira playing League of Legends and also looking up all the hot news.
All the
what's going on.
hot news.
Who are the streamers dating now?
What is the most recent drama in League of Legends esports?
I can't wait. I'm gonna listen to that on my way back.
That's not happening. I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Can you please?
Nope.
Like I need something to listen to, and I've got a lot of driving to do this weekend because I got to go to Florida, then back to Carolina, then North Carolina, then back to South Carolina. It's gonna be a long time, long drives.
I don't know. According to this, he's still working there as a game developer. That's according to the wiki.
All right. Well, I'm glad that took 7 minutes to figure out. We're good.
Whatever. Hey, Ginsu, if you're actually listening, tweet me at T-Force
Let
Network.
us know you're alive.
Let us know. You haven't tweeted since January 3rd, 2013, but tweet me. All right, that's it. I'm going to kill it here. That's it. That's the podcast. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Go review us on iTunes. Don't mention this episode, or rather the end of the episode about Ginsu, because no one else cares.
Unless it's about,
I don't even
if
care
this
what
is
they
part
do
of the 5-star review, and
That-
they're like, we really like how much of a variety show this has turned into.
I was gonna say that the review will be guys are great at going over patch notes, giving
They
me
should have really
information,
just stopped
but they
talking
should
at 56
just
minutes.
Stop talking. They need to learn the end of the show. See ya.